time to round up one of our big topics from the week. The smoke has cleared from this past week's runoff election, and now analysts say the Tea Party is in near perfect position to call almost all the shots. Less than 500,000 voters helped decide most of the races, and while that number is less than 4% of the state's registered voters, the Tea Party stands to wield plenty of power because Democrats haven't won statewide here in decades. Political analysts say establishment Republicans fear the Tea Party takeover will move the GOP too far to the right. So will mainstream voters turn back the Tea Party surge this fall and hand big wins to the Democrats? That's our topic, and we want to hear from you. You can weigh in on our Fox 26 Facebook page or Twitter. Be sure to use the hashtag Fox26forlife. In the newsroom, we have our legal analyst, Chris Tritico, our news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst, Jackie Bally. All right, have at it. I know you guys have a lot to say about this.
Well, you know, and the election that we just saw, this runoff election in the GOP primary, was as bruising an election I've ever seen, with the lieutenant governor's race and the attorney general's race, where they just beat each other about the head and shoulders. And then Dewhurst came out after calling Dan Patrick crazy and having been in a mental hospital, came out and endorsed him the next day. He's not that crazy. Let's just ask you, Mustafa, straight up. Is the Tea Party too far for the right for Texas? Too far to the right for Texas?
Well, whether that is true or not, and I think it's true, but whether it's true or not, one thing is a fact. That the Tea Party is now the new Texas Republican Party. There is no distinction. Dan Patrick, who was the chair of the Tea Party caucus, is running for lieutenant governor, which is the most powerful position in the state. So if the general public is very comfortable with having the Tea Party run the 14th largest economy in the world, then they should be voting for the Republicans this cycle.
Jackie, I'm not going to ask you because I know your answer to that is no. So let me just ask you this question. Is there a place too far to the right for Texas?
The Tea Party has always been. The Tea Party and the Republican Party in Texas has always been one and the same. What you've seen in the movement is that Ted Cruz has brought a face to the Tea Party. The fact that he actually was a relatively unknown politically when he ran, and he defeated the establishment. Ted is the one who put the face on the Tea Party. But we've always been extremely conservative. We're a very conservative state. And the fact that our Tea Party candidates are winning.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you saw Mitt Romney go so far to the right to win the nomination, then he couldn't come back to the middle enough to win the White House, which is part of the reason Obama's in the White House.
Well, in the first place, I don't think Mitt Romney went all the way to the right. Mitt Romney had a lot of problems with his campaign, but going all the way to the right was not one of them.
What about you, Mustafa?
Well, John Cornyn and David Dewhurst are not Ted Cruz and Dan Patrick. This has not been a Tea Party state. I mean, candidly, we call it the establishment Republicans versus the Tea Party. We've always said that. Now, the Tea Party is the new Texas Republican Party.
Actually, we've only said
we've
that
always
whenever
called establishment
No,
parties.
it was when Ted Cruz came in, and Ted Cruz beat someone who had many, many, many years in office. Then all of a sudden we started saying, okay, it's the established versus the Tea Party.
That's Mustafa's probably right on that. Let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Very interesting. Okay, I want to show you a couple of tweets from Mark Jones. He's the head of the poli-sci department at the Rice University's Baker Institute. He says Patrick's win is a win for Ted Cruz's vision within the Republican Party, uncompromisingly conservative. Also says the Tea Party's influence in Texas may dissipate in the general election this November.
Well, let's talk about that. That's what I was trying to ask you earlier. Is there a place too far to the right that the mainstream, I know you don't like that phrase anymore, but the mainstream Texans are going to go, I just can't go there?
Texas is going, all of our Tea Party candidates, Dan Patrick will be the next lieutenant governor, Paxton will be our next AG. The fact that people like Mustafa are trying to say, oh, it's to the right and the Democrats are going to win, that's not true. Democrats are not taking over our state.
The polling shows, the demographics show that Texas will start moving more towards voting in Democrats, and the last thing I saw was at least by 2018.
Yeah, well, look, there is a movement up front, but I think this is an important point in history. Right? It's around the country, the Tea Party lost races, every major state race, except here. Here, rather than losing races or losing their clout, they actually have increased it. They've gone from a movement to taking over the Texas Republican Party. Whether you agree in the general election whether they'll win or not, that's a factual statement. And then we all need to understand that as we go to the polls, because the Tea Party is an anti-establishment, anti-government movement.
Does the Tea Party have a problem when the Texans start looking? We're 49th in education. We're almost last in health care. We are last in mental health care. And this is all under Republican domination. Isn't the Tea Party one day going to have to pay attention to that because the public is?
Well, I think what we're going to see with our legislators, our Tea Party, our Republicans, however you want to phrase it, they're going to continue to tackle these issues the way they have been the last couple of years. The fact that our economy continues to grow and it's better than most any other state, that will continue to improve, whether if it's the Tea Parties who are in charge or not. And one thing I would like to say, a lot of people look at demographics and they say with the browning of populations, you're going to turn to the left. Fort Bend County is a perfect example. We are more brown than ever, the most diverse county in the country, and we vote more Republican than ever, and our Tea Party is stronger than ever.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. We'll be back in a little bit to talk about, I forgot.
We're having coffee this morning, coffee.
Good segue there, Trinico.
I
All
forgot.
right, we're going to be talking about the Veterans Affairs
That's it.
scandal. So
That's it.
send your tweet with the hashtag Fox26 for life if you want to get it on the air. All right, thanks, guys.